Hey, Brandon here. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. Got another 2024 rookie report here for you on the channel. Going to be joined again by my podcast co-host Jason DiRienzo, and we are going to talk about Javon Baker, UCF wide receiver. Man, he is getting a lot of buzz recently as a sleeper in this 2024 wide receiver class. So we've watched the All-22 film. We've watched the film all year on him. Transfer from Alabama, goes to UCF, has really two productive good seasons. We're going to tell you everything you need to know about Javon Baker. You play Dynasty, you play Fantasy, and you're looking for a YouTube channel out there that can give you a look at these 2024 rookies and beyond. Hit that subscribe button, trying to grow the channel. Appreciate it. Let's get to the show. All right, Jason, let's get to our next rookie report here. A guy that's been getting a ton of buzz on X right now. He seems to be everyone's favorite receiver, favorite sleeper, early day three, and that is Javon Baker, UCF wide receiver. He is a senior, 6', 208 pounds. Played his first two seasons at Alabama, transferred to UCF, and he's had pretty significant production since moving to UCF. Now, back in Alabama in those early days, he was playing behind some pretty good players, but I wish he would have stayed at Alabama, to be honest with you, because the last 2 years they've been really searching for their next wide receiver. I would have loved to see him if he could have really have excelled in Alabama, but we cut up a bunch of regular films. I think Oklahoma State, and there's a Georgia Tech game, I think, on my YouTube channel, man. So, on the channel, so check that out. Let's go to his career statistics. Really, it's 2 years of production. He's a 4-year player, but he didn't have any really production at all in Alabama. So the stats here are really over a 2-year period: 102 receptions, 1,700 yards, 12 TDs, 17.6 average. Wide, played out wide, 80%, 20% in the slot, 61% catch percentage. His drops are a little bit of an issue. He had 13 really over 2 seasons, representing 11% of his reception targets, which seems very high compared, doing these rookie reports for the last 2 months. So his PFF grades here, you can see on the screen for you, those that are listening: 84% receiving grade, high percentile grade versus man coverage, 70 to 78.5 grade, contested catch at 56.3 on the higher end of the scale over 75 percentile. Yards after the catch, tied 57th in college football at 7.2. Missed tackles forced, 7, which was ranked very low. Tied for 232nd in college football. But the one that stood out to me is his average depth of target at 17.1, was tied for 18th in college football. And you watch the films, Jason. I mean, the guy is, again, a vertical threat, similar to kind of who we just talked about, and Brian Thomas Jr. as well. Boundary receiver, plays out well, plays outside, a vertical threat. So his scouting report, his vertical ball tracking ability is really, really good. And his body control on those films that I produced for you and that we had taken a look at, and just really watching his film at UCF all together, man, he's got some really good ball down vertical skills.
Yeah. Oh, his vertical skills are great. I will say this, when we talk about that, I'm just gonna get into the one concern I have real quick with that
Mhm.
is I didn't like how often I saw a DB at his hip, and I've been trying to
Absolutely.
learn my lesson from some of the players that I truly liked in the past, but I had to remember, like, there's a reason why the defenders were at their hip, and I
Mhm.
wonder if he truly has that deep level speed to separate and the manipulation once he gets into the second level to get a DB off his back, like use a jam step or some sort of manipulation to get
Mhm.
that defender at his hip off of him. That's what I want to see. But man, the body control, catch radius, catching outside of his frame, just the tenacity at the catch point, it's all there.
Yeah, I mean, his hands, I mean, that one catch in Oklahoma, he did it like a corner
Oh, that
route, and
one-handed.
the one-handed grab, that was
Oh,
pretty
gorgeous.
spectacular. But to your
Yeah.
point, you're absolutely right, right? I mean, you can't win in the NFL if you are a one-dimensional vertical, go route kind of player. Like, you have to create space. And
Mhm.
I saw some good route running, some good,
Oh,
skip
yeah, me too.
steps, and
Yep.
some good releases. They had a lot of drops, concentration drops. I don't know if that's an issue. I always feel as though it's a mark on someone's traits, but I always feel like if you spend enough time with the jug machine, like maybe you can get over bad hands, but we'll see. But I mean, what did you
Mhm.
think he was as an overall route runner? I mean, I thought he looked pretty good, but he
I
didn't look like
I
an
came away
ultimate.
impressed.
You came away impressed? Yeah,
I
I
came away impressed from the start till about the mid part of his stem. Once he got past that po like, if it was the middle of the field, like a simple route, like a crossing route or, a post route or something like that, I felt good about it, but when I watched him on the vertical route, like on a go or, there wasn't many times where I saw him on an out route really be able to separate, and I don't even think he really ran too many out routes from what I saw on the film, but I like the release. I love the tempo and the rhythm within his release and just the manipulation with how he's very patient. He will wait until he identifies the weakness of the defender and he will attack it. And I
Mhm.
really like that. That's nuanced. It's just once he gets past the defender, I don't know about the long speed. I don't know about the manipulation to the second level, but man, the play strength, there's a lot to like. I just don't know how often he's going to be able to separate at the next level against better defenders, especially the
Yeah.
competition level he's been facing.
Yeah, well, I agree with you with the at the line of scrimmage, his initial acceleration and his ability, some decent hand fighting. He's not the most physical guy in the
Mhm.
world, but
No, he's not.
I didn't come away like really impressed when he had to snap out of his routes, when he went
I
to make
agree with
his
that.
cuts.
Yeah, I agree
So
with
it
that.
just wasn't, really special. It was nice, but I felt he took a lot of steps to do curl routes and stop routes and stuff like that, and didn't really sink like tremendously to burst out of his stance. But in any case, he's going to be just let's talk about his draft capital a little bit.
Mhm.
I got here on the show sheet here on what you guys are looking at as a fourth or fifth round pick. I mean, I don't think he's a day two guy. There's guys on X right now thinking he's like going to sneak up into the top 10. And I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm
Oof.
wrong, but
I don't
I
know, man.
don't. Yeah, I think fourth, fifth round. I mean, I think he's a solid day three depth receiver on an NFL roster. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think he can have wide receiver 2 upside if he gets that route running down, because that is something that can be taught. I like everything else that he has. So if I project him and he improves the route running, I feel a little bit better about that. But right now, I see you have 4th, 5th round. I think that's safe, and that's exactly the type of area that a player like this should be taken.
Yeah, so is on our super flex rookie drafts, I've got him in the third round. Most likely could sneak into the fourth. Really depends, I guess, really on draft capital and where he is going to land and what opportunity he has. So he's going to be, anywhere mid third. And if he drops to the fourth, it would be if he got 6 round draft capital or something like that. So who's your player comp for him? Who do what kind of path do you see him play like and kind of have in the NFL?
I see a lot of Brandon Ayuk when he was coming out of college. I'm not sure if
Ooh,
that ceiling is there
spicy.
for Brandon Ayuk, but if he puts the route running together, I can absolutely see that. He wins very similar to how Brandon Ayuk won coming out of college, and I do think it's gonna like, it took Brandon Ayuk a little bit of time to come on. I think it's gonna be the same thing for Javon Baker, so if you draft him, you're gonna have to be patient because he could definitely put it together. He's just gonna have to learn a little bit more of the nuances that he did not get from his time at UCF.
Wow, they're gonna love yours comp more than mine. I got Josh Palmer, watching him at the Chargers this
Mhm.
year, coming out of Tennessee. I think he played, right? Did he come out of Tennessee? Josh
Came out
Palmer?
of Tennessee. Yep.
Yeah. So a guy who wins vertical, but I never really see him win kind of in the short area part of the field. So, more of a downfield vertical threat. And I think he could take a path similar to Josh Palmer. I mean, he's always been like the wide receiver 3 on that team. It's kind of where I see the mold for Javon Baker. I don't see him really developing into like a solid number 2. I mean, maybe 2/3, but not a guy that is going to be, I think on a team that's going to be, utilizing him as a wide receiver 2
Yeah,
consistently.
I agree with that.
Either
Yeah.
way, though, dude, if he's Brandon Ayuk, then I'm way wrong. So as far as I know, you're just
I mean,
saying
if
not
he's
that
Brandon
ceiling.
Ayuk,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
wrong with how I'm talking about him. I
yeah,
just see similarities coming out of college. So
exactly,
hopefully Brandon Ayuk just landed in the perfect spot with a great coaching staff that knows how to use his abilities, and
dude.
I'm hoping the same thing for Baker.
Didn't he though? Right? I mean, if he ended up
Yeah.
on the Ravens, you think he'd be anything like he is
No.
now? Probably,
He'd be
probably
Rashad
not.
Bateman right now.
Yeah, Rashad Bateman, right?
Just
Uh,
well, as just not as injured, I guess.
yeah, yeah. So hey, I think Harbaugh said at the combine that next year is his year. So
That's true. We'll see.
So buy low opportunity if you believe after all
Yeah.
of these years. So Javon Baker, day 3 pick. It's gonna be exciting. I think his landing spot and opportunity is really gonna define who he is at the NFL level and our dynasty roster. So there you guys
Mhm.
go. There is our rookie report on Mr. Javon Baker.